yet. The $25,000 for that project is fully committed, so I think that we can say that that one's completed.
I wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't say that. Okay, well,
Because the dog park is funded through a grant,
yep,
and it's based, that 25,000 is up to 250,000 for construction costs, so the town shows. So until, the way it's worded,
yeah,
there's no, 25,000, there is no dog park right now. Until that's done, in my mind,
yeah.
you know,
Okay, so
I
you
know it's
don't,
out for bid.
you don't
I
think
mean,
we
it's already
should,
beyond bid.
yeah, you don't think we should close that one
No.
out? Okay, all right. The next two are, were funding towards Rebecca's position as town planner when she was doing Parks and Recreation Operations Plan and also the implementation for community housing. These two, I believe that with the end of the fiscal year, this year, that those are zeroed out also, but we'll have her confirm those. That's these two. This one and this one, those two. And the ADA compliance at BZ Park Phase One, there was some money remaining in that one that was put as part of the Phase Two, put towards the bathroom and the wall. So that one is also zeroed out and that one's completed.
Mike, just a question on that.
Sure.
That was also listed approved on May 2021, and this was in May 2019, but the same designation, the same bathroom receiving final quotes, wall schedule for April. We got the same thing on the one on May 2021. Is it,
The,
where'd it go here? Yeah. The only thing different is a ramp to the backyard.
what happened was the Phase One had the bathroom on it, but it turned out to be more expensive than, the grant couldn't cover it. So when we put the Phase Two grant in, we requested that we would take the remaining money from the Phase One and put it towards the bathroom, plus the extra we needed towards the bathroom was in Phase Two, along with the wall. So we kind of combined the Phase One funds left over with the Phase Two project. And that was submitted as part of the grant. Does that make sense? Okay, on page 3, the irrigation and fields at the Pines Recreation Area, I am assuming that all that money has been spent, but again, we need to check with Rebecca on that. And the last one is the historic preservation of the Vito Hand Tub Museum. So this project has been around for a while. It was originally voted, I want to say, back in 2014. And then the work wasn't done, the scope of it expanded, and then they put together a Phase Two request. And I don't think any money, well, minimal amount of money has been spent, because I don't remember what the total amount was in the beginning, but I think some money has been spent on advertising, and that was about it. But this has kind of lost its steam, and I would say that we should close it out unless we, anyone here feels differently, or, maybe if you want to give us some input on it, Linda, since the Historic Commission is kind of our representative on historic stuff.
Yeah, I haven't really heard much about it.
Yeah, no, there hasn't been, like I say,
Nobody seems too eager to step up.
no, right,
Are
right,
we talking about the wooden box?
yeah.
Just forget it, close it out.
I think they probably should relook at that.
Yeah,
That needs, it needs some attention. Maybe we could find out what was done. I know they were supposed to put on some, something on the windows to stop the glare from coming in and destroying that
That's done.
piece of equipment.
yeah, that's right, they did that.
There was a guy a couple of years ago came down because he's in the business of renovating historic things, and he was looking at it to give a quote. I don't know what happened to it, because I happened to be in town hall that day,
Yeah,
and he happened to be there. So,
well, we'll ask Rebecca also her thoughts on that one too. Okay. All right. So, we've got the three projects that were approved this year. The Pines entrance for walkers and bikes and baby carriages. Lucille's Cottage feasibility study, and the VZ main building ADA compliance phase 3 lift. So the total approved is 319,500, which I think is the lowest that we've ever actually funded of any projects. But I think, as I mentioned in February at our last meeting, the fiscal year 21 numbers, I don't have it in front of me, but we, with the match and what was taken in from the town, we had over $700,000 added to our total, so, we're in pretty good shape. And this idea of trying to not overspend in any one year seems to be working. Okay. So, let's see. Somewhere. Let me see that. We have a form for new projects. Here it is. No, that's closing out. We have a form for new projects that Rebecca put together, and what it does is it asks, here it is. It identifies the project manager and talks about the terms of it, the budget, reminds the person who's spending it about mass procurement law, asks for reports every 6 months, talks about preservation restrictions and deed restrictions if that applies to the project, and a few other things regarding CPA. So I think we should ask Rebecca to just update with this and try to act on getting these in place from now on for the new projects. So we should be able to do that. We also have a form about closing projects out. And I'll let Rebecca talk about that one if she comes. Okay. The next item that I want to talk about is item number 3, which is spending approval for a change scope and administrative funds request. So, this is regarding a project from 2021, which was focused on the property at 46 Washington Street. It's a, it's the last mill building left. They tore all the other ones down, and the property is about, it's about a little over an acre, about an acre and a half, but it abuts another 6-acre property that the town also owns. The difficulty with it is it's, with that property, the surrounding property, it was under the Superfund site of Mass DEP, so it's kind of been let go. And about 2 years ago, the water department moved out of it. They were the last town department that was using the building kind of as a workshop and office and storage space. So, so the building was sitting vacant. So, I worked with Kathy Castronellis to put this grant request in 2021. The idea was to clean the place up and make it look better, as much as we could. So, that was approved, as I say, last year, and some things changed along the way. Mass DEP, right after we approved the project, they sent in a contractor to clean up all their little buildings and electrical stations and everything that they had there. So we don't really need to do that anymore, so that's a good thing. But in the fall, I met with some of the selectmen and the building inspector, and we looked at the building just to see what the town might be thinking about doing with it. And later on, in speaking with the building inspector, I was kind of under the impression that we had to kind of find a way to take care of a couple of the problems with the building. So I undertook some monitoring of the temperature. He explained that he was concerned about the place sitting there unheated, and the furnace, one of the furnaces in there wasn't working at all. The gas company shut it off, so the heat was a problem. And also he was talking about some lack of concrete supports in the basement that had been removed so that the highway department could park trucks in there. So, I made the mistake of assuming that we could cover that stuff with the current CPA project, which, as I say, I don't think that was probably a good thing, but, I looked at it as an emergency case. And none of the work that was done was outside the scope of CPA, even though it was outside the scope of this particular project. The particular project didn't really talk about fixing the building or preserving the building, even though it was filed under both recreation and historic. So, we have paid $78.50 so far and nothing else. There's not gonna be any more money put into it, but, initially, as I say, those were expected to be covered under the project. I spoke with the, Community Preservation Coalition today, and they did not recommend that we do that. They didn't think that we should be expanding the scope of a particular project as much as these things do. So really, our only option is to cover these things under the administrative funds. So that's what I'm proposing tonight, that we vote to pay the $78.50 in bills by using administrative funds.
Does that need to go, be voted by the townspeople?
No, we're in control of the administrative funds because they vote the administrative funds and then we get to decide how to spend them.
Money's in the budget, no problem.
Yeah, there's money in there.
You guys see a problem with that?
No.
You?
Originally, it was for landscaping and cleaning it up. That's what I remember. Because Kathy had this idea that we wanted to restore the pond to
Yes.
its greatness. when
Well-
It had nothing to do with the building itself.
No, right. But, you know, I would say that we're gonna put a phase 2 in if we wanna do anything else. We may, you know, Rebecca has some ideas to put some grants in to get more money to, for underused building, which may require matching funds from CPA. So, you know, my guess is, that's why this was called a phase 1. My guess is that we'll have another phase 2 project for it to address more stuff about the building.
And that should be done through the normal CPC.
Yes,
process.
absolutely. And like I say, you know, I'll take the fault for this.
So we're gonna approve it?
There's nothing to approve here.
Well, we'll make a motion
Okay.
to pay the $78.50 with administrative funds
Okay.
rather than the project funds. So you make that motion,
I will make that motion.
okay. Somebody want to second it?
Second it.
Okay.
In doing so, are you going to deduct $78.50 from the 21,000?
Well, we won't be spending all of that because the three main things are landscaping and a survey. The third one was cleaning up the buildings and the stuff that DEP did, so we don't need to do that. And that was about $9,000, so, you know, we're coming under it anyway.
So the budget's already there for it.
Yeah. You know, the budget's there for
Right.
the stuff that we need to do, the outside
Right.
stuff, and then we also have the administrative money to do
Perfect.
this. All right, any further discussion on that? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, and let's see, so we got 4-1. All right. Okay. The next thing is to talk about some potential needs and new projects for 2023. So normally, what we'll do is have a meeting in September and open it up for any townwide input on groups or individuals that want to come with ideas, but,
Yeah.
you know, I figured that tonight, I've got a couple of items, but if you had any other items that you know of, that we can at least make sure that we keep those in mind for September for 2023 requests for proposals. So I'll tell you about what I know. So, I've been to a couple of meetings that the Groveland Congregational Church has had regarding their improvements in the building that are gonna make it ADA compatible, and it's a historic building. So they are interested in applying for some CPA funds. Certainly, I think the project is gonna be a couple $1 million. It's a big project. And, but obviously, we're not gonna be, I don't think they think at all that they're gonna be coming in here asking for a huge amount of money like that. But they definitely are interested in funding some small portion of the of the project with CPA. And, you know, this one, I think we have to be a little careful about because it's not a town property. Those are legal, but they have to be written very carefully to show that we're not somehow funding a religious group.
I
So,
don't know how it looks any other way.
well,
I mean,
if
I don't
it's,
know if it's legal to do that.
no, it is legal, but you have to be very careful about it. Because people have challenged it, and so they've narrowed it down very much. The only way I can see that we could do that is if we were funding something that their, whatever they were doing made it easier for people to get into a historic building and not, you know, so it would be limited, certainly. Like, I don't think we could fund changes to their sanctuary. But could we fund something about getting into the main part of the entrance? Maybe, again, if it was written properly.
But that's what the purpose of it is, so that they could get into their church.
Yes, but it's also, the purpose would also be that people could get into, because it's a historic building, you know, it's got the Paul Revere bell in it and everything else. They do get people that go there to see the building itself rather than go to worship services.
So you classify it as a historic building?
Yeah, yeah,
So therefore, you have to treat it as such.
right,
So therefore, just like the Freedom Trail in Boston, people can come by and go inside and observe,
yep,
like you were saying, the
Right,
bell.
right.
And what it's all about, and that's what the bottom line is.
Yes.
That's what it really
right,
is.
right.
Would they need to post hours that they are open?
Well, yeah, that probably wouldn't hurt. You know, whether they have a, say they have a specific set times for, other than
Worship.
church stuff,
Well,
yeah,
you run into the same thing at the Old North Church in Boston.
yeah,
But
Right.
but that's open certain times.
yeah, right, right,
Monday
Right.
through Friday. I mean, I work for the State House,
yep,
and guests could come and visit, but it's limited Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. And that's how it operates.
yeah, yeah. So I'm not arguing either way for this, I'm just telling you about what what they're interested in. I
But
think,
where do we come in with all this?
well, they would have to come to us with a proposal. And then we'd have to look at it and try to make a decision, is it narrow enough to allow it to get funding or not?
Without legal counsel.
Yeah, well, right, I would say
Yeah,
that would be the one time to send it to town council and get some advice on it. You
How
know,
often do they have people coming to look at the historic
Yeah, I mean, there
building?
could be a survey based on that information, like if they took a 1 month period, Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, how many people come in to visit the bill?
yeah,
The numbers could be astronomically so low or very high at that point that they have to make some kind of recommendations.
So that'll be an interesting one.
I think that
Yes.
would be a great question. How many people go in to see the historic building or the
Right.
bell?
right.
And
So we
is
just
the
run a
bell,
survey.
the bell
Right.
tower accessible?
Before we donate money, just run a survey.
Right. What are they talking traffic-wise?
Exactly. I mean, if you're only talking about 3 people per week, I mean, up to today, I never even knew it existed.
Yeah,
There's a church in Salem, New Hampshire, not too far where I used to live. They
mean,
put
right
in a
now-
wheelchair lift
How would people get in? They'd have
on the
to
outside
call the
to get up.
administrative office of
That's
the
all
church,
that
I'm
would
assuming,
be.
and they
Gotcha.
only wanted to see.
yeah,
Okay.
right.
There's one at the casino at Hampton.
Which is
Beach.
fine. I mean, like I said, we gotta be ADA compliable. If that's what we have to do for people to come in and worship and to look at this historic bell, then you put an ADA lift in there and let the good people enjoy it.
Well, the town hall has to vote on it. Mike hasn't explained the whole process. It
That's
goes
true.
through the board of
But at least,
selectmen.
right,
And then it has to be voted at town meeting.
okay.
This is just a little bit out of left field.
Yeah, well, we've never had one of these before. Every single project we've ever done has been town-owned things, you know, so this is unusual. But, you know, CPA can even cover, you know, historic homes that the city or town doesn't own, you know, but we've never encountered one of these before. But the church makes it a little bit even harder because of the religious aspect of it. Okay, I guess that there's, I don't know if you know about some of this stuff, Ed, is some of the additional stuff down at the Pines. Supposedly, you know, tennis courts, skate park, and, something else.
Well, not much, but I do know that the tennis courts were supposed to be built where the dog park is going.
Yeah,
So I don't know whether that's changed or not, where that's gonna go, if they're even looking at still having tennis courts
Yeah.
there, which they probably should, it would get a lot of use.
yeah, I mean, you know, there's still room down there for some stuff, but a lot of the land is the water department really has their control over it, plus they have to have a 400-foot setback from their well, so even though it looks like there's a large area available, I don't know if it really is.
Well, that skateboard park
Yeah,
that was put in, just past the gate,
basketball,
past the basketball. It's been a couple of years since I've seen that, but it needed some attention.
yeah, oh, yeah, definitely.
Again, go back to the usage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, we drop our money into, and there's nothing wrong with a skate park. I think it's a great recreational thing for these kids. But how much use is it actually getting? Is it really worth dropping in X amount of dollars to make it look beautiful if it's not gonna be used?
Right, right.
What were your other things on your list, Mike?
At the Pines,
Yeah.
what the heck was it? Tennis court, skate, there was something else, and I can't remember what it was. I don't remember, but there was some other recreational thing. I think the interesting thing is what Jim has brought up before is that, you know, there's not a heck of a lot of recreational opportunities put forth under CPA for older folks, right?
I have
It's
an
all,
idea on that.
tell me,
See where the tent is out there?
yeah,
build a roof structure down by the lavatories.
Yeah.
Maybe a community, as you know, everyone's sensitive to the seniors, but the seniors work out every Tuesday, not all the seniors, under the tent, that's
Yep.
what it's for. I would like to have seen, build a similar structure, but with a real roof on it.
Like a pavilion,
I don't know.
because you can't build, there's certain things you can't build, but you can build
Open.
pavilions, open
It's open.
structures.
No, there's no walls.
Yeah.
Right, it's just a steel roof. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Almost like a carport without the sides.
Yeah.
And again,
And that's something that the Whittier Tech students could help out with, which would lower the cost.
Yeah. Well, it could get a lot of use besides even just
No, I'm right.
seniors.
There's one down there now, but it's too small.
Oh, yeah, right.
but Georgetown has that open pavilion. They have the concerts
Yep,
every Monday night.
Right.
And it's a beautiful venue.
Yeah, so it could, that's why it'd be a community-based group, but the seniors would benefit for the ones that
course.
want to use it.
What's-
be
Is-
better than being in the parking lot.
Yeah.
On a hill.
Yeah, I know.
I get the ball, I drop it, and the woman, she goes down the hill and retrieves it.
When the dog park is built,
Yep,
that's basically some of the events that they have down there, particularly like the Pine Speedway reunion.
yeah,
That's always used as a parking area. And I can't remember a couple of the other events that they use that area
yeah.
for parking, which, once the dog park is built, that's going to go away. So there's really going to be limited parking for some of those larger events. Maybe look into a set of stairs from the town hall
Yeah,
down to the Pines. Something better than what was there in the past. There's still some remnants of it out there. Because we're gonna need the town hall parking for some of those larger Pines events, even like the Groveland Days.
And that
Yep.
speedway though is.
Some of
fills
those-
it all. I mean, if there isn't a car, you can get in there.
Yeah, some of those sporting events, the baseball games down there, they're pretty well crowded, and they
Yeah.
do use this, that vacant area atop for parking.
right.
How about I don't know if CPA money can be used for it, how about a building for a concession stand? With the events that are down there, the baseball, the softball, football, I know that had been talked about before, a concession stand which
Yeah.
could raise some funds to run the Pines.
Right. Right.
But Washington Street has,
Yeah, the Washington Street baseball
yeah.
fields do. Yeah, I can check on that. I think that could be allowed, but I'm not 100% sure of it. I know, like, for recreation, they are restricted, like you can't build a skating rink or, a football field or something like that. They're picky about buildings, but a concession stand might go, because you can do bathrooms, so,
It'll be worth checking.
yeah, right. Okay.
Another thing on the Pines.
Yeah.
The bleachers down there, there was talk that those bleachers were in some of them in kind of tough shape. I don't know, I haven't looked at it myself, but I don't know if anybody's been down there. But we were talking about this past October, when we were looking at the Pumpkin Festival, and
Yep.
moving those bleachers up there, and Highway said that they thought they'd fall apart if they were moved up.
Hmm.
That should be covered under recreation too.
Yeah.
The bleachers.
Oh, yeah. When you have a recreation facility like that, anything like stairs or anything, pathways, all are perfectly fine. Let's see, so,
Should you have the engineers look at the bleachers just to make sure they're safety?
yeah,
Just saying, just do a quick walkthrough just to make sure that they pass inspection.
right, right. Well,
Not
some,
that many of them there, drive by there all the time.
No,
They're
not
small.
many.
I mean,
Okay.
it's like the what.
I'm just
the
saying though,
width of
based
it.
on what he said,
Yeah.
that's all I'm thinking of.
Those
And
people-
if he feels that, you know, they're adequate and that they're safe, then I'm okay with everything.
And also, when they do that, look at the ones at Washington Park, too. Those have been there for years. And there's ones, you noticed, Linda, at the end of the basketball court up there, I think they ended up taking those little bleachers that were there down because they were falling apart.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember seeing them there for a while.
It's because we don't have a recreation budget in the town.
any other historic stuff, Linda, that you can think of?
The only thing that's floating around is, I'm not sure it's gonna happen next year, but, doing the final matching grant for the, survey. And another thing is getting Washington Hall on the National Register.
Oh, yeah. That, again, that could be covered.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Washington,
It probably would be, I don't know, $3,000 or $4,000.
yeah,
That's small compared to the 350,000 we spent at the back of the Badenell playground.
Yeah, we'd have to hire somebody.
That was done right away.
federal list. Okay. All right, well, we've got some ideas, so we'll just keep thinking about other possibilities and see what we can come up with for the fall. So, let's see, a couple other small items, let's see. All right, so I want to take a vote to issue the 2023 request for proposals by mid-September, because that gives us a little more, gives everybody a little more time to apply. Last year, we didn't, because of personnel changes, we didn't get it out until late November. So I'd like to get it out by mid-September. So I'll make a motion to issue the 2023 RFP for CPA projects by September 15th.
Will they be available online, that
Yeah,
form? Okay.
Yeah. The form that we're using is pretty much the standard form that we've used for quite a while. Is there a second on that?
Second,
Any further discussion on that? All right, all in favor? Aye.
With the rail trail opening perhaps at the end of the year, is there anything that's needed as far as signage that wasn't part of the project? Or bike racks?
Yep. Signage, if you've been to the one, I spoke to somebody at the planning department in Newburyport, and he gave me a lot of information about some of what they've done there with, they have some places where they've got murals, they've got signage, they've got, these dioramas kind of on these signs that are about 3 by 4 feet, talk about the history of, things along the trail. So, yeah, I don't think we have any money left for that stuff, but,
Actually, the Historical Society we did a project which we gave to Rebecca.
Yeah.
And she gave to the designer. We haven't gotten feedback yet, but basically we tried to include historical things in Groveland.
oh, all right, so you've already started working on that,
And
so.
that was like in January, I think.
What about parking for the rail trail? When it was designed, there was no place set aside for trailhead parking. And how are you going to access that with a bicycle, or people walk down to the rail trail and park their vehicle? There's no place to park.
Right. The last I heard, Ed, was that we were still in negotiation with National Grid regarding parking at the end of King Street, right on the Georgetown line. So I think that's still, when we were working on it, they had put that off till they got the regular lease of the trail in place, which they did. And so now, I would hope that somebody's trying to negotiate using some of their property over there for parking. You know where I mean?
I do. How about at the
Right
other
off.
end too, by
Yeah, well-
Parker Fence?
Right.
There's no spot right there.
No. There is the land over right off Main Street that the electric company controls. That could be a potential parking lot there. Another option is to negotiate something with Eric Harper, who owns, the Estes Park property.
And I did see, and it's now a month and a half ago, where people were actually parking on Route 97 on School Street underneath the no parking signs and walking down to use the trail before it was open,
Yeah.
probably following you. But there again, they were parking on School Street because there was no place to park as a trailhead. And it looks like should be some property there right off of 97 that, right at the end of the part that goes out towards Ashcroft. There should be something there on 97 that, an area that the electric company owns that could be set aside for parking.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so, that could even be a potential add-on CPA project depending upon what had to be negotiated, renting the property or, getting some long-term lease for using it from National Grid.
And you could also look into some sort of parking at the end of, like Baldwin Terrace, and then the trail runs right close to there.
Yeah, right.
Uh, I haven't been down there for a while, but there may be something that could be built with an access to the trail.
Yep, yep. Okay, the last, let's see, we did this one. The last thing, I wanted to bring up was, regarding, CPA administrator. So, up until Rebecca was appointed to the, town administrator, she was the CPA, our CPA administrator. And now, we don't have one anymore. And, let's see, I got these. Planning department. All right, so this is what some of the duties are. So this is, this is a year and a half old, but these are some of the things that Rebecca felt that the CPA administrator would do. Attend the meetings, take the minutes, research project legalities, and then a big part is CPA project oversight and management. And finally, some community outreach and support, particularly for, say, new projects. So I think that the area where we are most in need of help is the project oversight and management. And some of this, goes right from the get-go of when projects start, and making sure all of the things that are on the project agreement get done, and that they are notified of the procurement rules, et cetera, et cetera. But also just keeping things on track, We've got a number of projects for one reason or another that are, kind of long living, and we don't kind of know, we don't really know where they're at,
Nebulous.
The Vito Museum is probably the prime example. But, I think that from a CPA point of view, if you can get a project done within a couple years of it getting voted, it's better for CPA. It's better for our cause, say, that, people don't see this thing as, well, I voted it 5 years ago and what's
Nothing's happened.
happening? Yeah, right. Why did we do that or something, So, I think that, a part-time CPA administrator would be good, but I'm not sure where it fits. When Rebecca was doing it, she was doing it as part of her planning job, her zoning job, and a couple other jobs, and somehow managed to squeeze it in. And we were funding a small portion of her salary in order for her to do that. But we haven't done that with any of our administrative funds this fiscal year. So what I'm thinking is, maybe with some input from Rebecca about next fiscal year, we can find somebody to fill this role. Yep.
I volunteer.
You want to volunteer?
Why not?
Hey, could be,
I'm retired.
yeah. It doesn't really fit in with our current planner. Our current planner is kind of pretty busy because she's split her time between conservation and planning, so she doesn't
So we're
really.
gonna put this out to the state website to try to put it out there for people to be interested in?
Yeah, we could. I mean, we kind of have a job description
That's what
all
I'm
written
saying,
up.
because again, I work for the state
Yep.
and everybody else, Mass.com, they have all the description of the jobs. If you wanna post that to
Yeah.
try to find some eligible person, or like I was saying, like a retired person who can come in and do it as a part-time job, correct?
Yeah,
So, I mean, if you can find somebody who's been in the field before that's retired, that could come in 2 days a week and help us, negotiate or navigate these contracts and have it try to fit within helping you out,
yeah.
getting things organized, I think that's a wonderful idea. Gentlemen, ladies?
No, I agree.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, as long as, I don't feel that we do a good job reporting status on these projects.
Yeah.
They just lay away from it. Like, in your building at Washington Street, that hot topping in that parking lot's like 4 years old.
I'm sorry, the what?
The hot top.
Hot
Oh.
topping, yeah. And so some of these things slip for good reason, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone should.
We've
re-
gotten
you-
around in
you-
circles
you
on that
referred To Rebecca, there should be once a month a report written. Just take what you have
right,
and then say status and maybe
Right.
no change, and if it's no change, why?
right, right.
Otherwise, keep on.
No, you're right,
saying-
because it could be a safety issue. I mean, somebody blows a tire, somebody trips, somebody walks off one of those potholes and, with an ankle earlier that we were talking about earlier. But the same situation, it's all about safety. And that's what we gotta make sure that we protect our city, or our town rather, and the people around us, make sure everybody's safe.
Did you want to vote on this tonight?
No, I'm just saying,
Okay,
I
good.
assume that we all kind of agree that we need we need to pursue this,
Sure.
Yes.
you know?
And someone with previous project management
Yeah.
experience.
That would be very good.
Yeah.
would be good. I don't have the time because of my personal things. So, and they have to be a little more active. and
Yes.
Proactive. I think
Right.
that's the piece that we.
Right.
we need.
Right,
So,
you know,
some part-timer, I don't know how much it would be worth, but pretty sure we could find somebody.
yeah, yeah,
Like I said, as somebody who's gonna be retiring within the next year, it'd be a perfect opportunity for somebody, not for myself personally, but someone that's retired, who has this extra time. I'm 61 years old, you know what I'm saying? Somebody within that age range, they could come in and give a couple of hours a week and help strategize and get all your facts in a row. If you communicate with them and say, hey, look, this is our agenda, can you go ahead and work this out for us? It's a win-win.
right,
I agree we need it, so,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
And you might get some retired person that's got some expertise in this.
Exactly.
in this
Right.
too.
Yeah,
right.
could be. That would be great.
Yeah. So I'll bring it up with Rebecca. I think it wouldn't, maybe 5 hours a week or something. It will vary, but it's not a huge,
Oh.
yeah, it's not a huge
If
job.
somebody's retired, they wanna come in a couple of hours a week, They'll pay for the gas for crying out loud, what's going on in the world today.
And it may not be every week.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
You might go a month or two without
Exactly.
anything.
Right.
Exactly.
Right,
I know
Like
some
on
of the
call.
larger towns have an administrator, so
Yeah.
they're more active.
yeah, right. Some of the larger cities, they definitely have, there's cities cities and towns that have full-time
Oh, yeah.
CPA administrators. And I know we don't need that.
Yeah.
And
All
reach
right.
out to some of the other towns and see if they have somebody
Yeah.
that it want the additional
Right.
hour.
I mean,
Right,
yeah, definitely another town, let's say that there's a family person, male or female, who's working in the job, who could pull in an extra, 10,000 a year just by coming in and assisting here. But the way that the economy is going today with single families or two-parent families who need with colleges and schools and stuff, somebody would be happy to jump on this.
Right.
And help us out.
right. Well, and we might even be able to find somebody, say, who's kind of doing it in West
That's what I'm
Newbury
saying.
or.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Come
local,
over
local.
here, work a couple of weeks, a couple of days a week.
Like they
you
do with the
said,
building inspector.
Exactly.
There.
And
Help
they could
us
just
out.
come in and just do a part-time job or a couple of Saturdays or whoever, and you get what you want out of them, and then they get the results that we need at the end of it.
Yep,
And again, it's a win-win with everybody else.
Like I said, help us out, help them out.
Exactly.
okay. So I'd like to schedule another meeting in September on, I know
Call me the day of, or
Yes.
you give me a little heads up.
I have your phone number now, so I'll call you. Thursday, September 15th. So I'll send out some information. I'll
Sounds great.
send you the draft minutes and everything. And I'll also, since Rebecca didn't show up, I'll ask her some of these questions. And send out her replies on some of this stuff too.
Beautiful.
All right, so September 15th at 6:30 PM. That's a Thursday.
And we'll put a question mark on it.
Yeah, it's not, who knows what will happen by September? Right?
It's always a crapshoot.
Yes,
Motion to adjourn?
yes.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
8:03.
Yep.
We're all set.